Nathan Aspinall, most underrated star. I mean, Twitter poll right now at the OHL 60 podcast on X. You can check it out there. Is he the most underrated star in the OHL? Right now, you see the odds. We'll finish it. We'll show the results on next week's show. Go there right now and vote. Heck yeah or no if he is the most underrated star. If he is, heck yeah, he is. If not, no, he's just right. He's where he is. He's an elite player. This is where he deserves to be. We already acknowledge that, I guess, because me personally, after seeing Brian's comments at the trade deadline show out of Flint, like seeing those comments about where was he and Flint's staff sitting around thinking, well, when's Nathan Aspinall going to get an invite to World Junior Camp? Very, very well said. And that put off alarms in my head right after hearing that. Anyone that listens knows that I'll be all over that right after when someone says that. I'll do my research on that. And I mean, incredible player, Nathan Aspinall. I mean, he's been a star this year. Is he the most underrated star in the OHL? Right now, I'm leaning yes. We'll see next week how I feel on the final results. But
for our listeners, it's 63.2% heck yeah, and only 36.8% for no.
Yeah, and right now, overwhelming heck yeah. And I would say that it should be like that. I mean, he is the most underrated star right now in the OHL, leading the league in points. He has 62 points in 42 games. Nathan Aspinall, you heard the stories last week from Brian Gardner, the voice of the Flint Firebirds, about how his developments went, how good he was at Rangers camp. He's a 5th-round pick in the 2024 draft by the New York Rangers. How good he was there. He's 6'7", 207. Like, up and down the wing. He's in a good spot there in Flint. Like, I really like his game, and I think the Firebirds, if they're going to make a run here in the playoffs, I think they're going to make a run in the playoffs because of Nathan Aspinall and players like him, the leader, the captain of the team. Obviously, if they're going to make a run, they're going to get over Windsor. They're going to get over the Kitcheners, the Sioux. They're going to do that because of Nathan Aspinall and others. But he's going to be one of the main reasons why they do that, because he's the captain. And I mean, just the player he is. I mean, he does the little things right. He has a high compete level. He's hard to play against. And I think that those are the things the intangibles that you like to see in a young player at the National Hockey League level. And I think that he's a guy that next year you could see him wearing that Rangers uniform after, hey, they called off the Dogs, BC, in the clouds. They called off the Dogs with their little email to the fans, or little statement to the fans about they're going to rebuild. So Nathan Aspinall, that could be a positive situation for him, maybe getting that opportunity with the Rangers sooner than later, as he develops here as a young hockey player in the Ontario Hockey League. So really big. Go to the X, get it on the poll. Is he the most underrated star in the OHL? Nathan Aspinall. Right now, heck yeah, 63%. I think it was 36. No, just fine. So go to X, OHL 60 podcast, and get it on the action as well. But
my question to you is Flint still underrated, even though they're first place in the West?
Yes, without a doubt. I think for the consensus for most people, and I don't want to speak for most people, from what I see, Brandon, and I think by asking the question, you'll probably agree with this. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like in the Western Conference, when people go to the Western Conference, I think you see this a lot with Ottawa as well in the East, where it's everyone in the East goes to the Brantford Bulldogs, being they're the team, right? And doesn't give Ottawa the credit they deserve. In the West, I think teams go to Kitchener, and I think teams go to Windsor before they go to Flint. That's my opinion. That's the consensus I get. You hear about the predictions, right? And obviously not to toot my own horn, but I had Flint being in the top of the standings at the beginning of the year as my surprise team to watch. They had a lot of picks. They had a lot of picks to work with. If they can get the horse through the starting gates and stay in contention at the deadline, check, you can add pieces. They've done both those. This is where the situation is. But me personally, I think maybe because of the markets of Windsor and Kitchener, right away in the Western Conference, I think when the average fan thinks about, okay, who's representing the Western Conference in the OHL final, I think they go right to Windsor or Kitchener. I don't think they go to the Flint Firebirds enough credit. Me personally, I think it goes through Flint right now, not just because of the standings. I think Flint, if Vakari is on, who, by the way, is playing his best hockey he's ever played in his OHL career, can he do it over a long time? I think he can. We saw how much he played a few seasons back with the Kingston Frontenacs. They ran him every game. I think he can handle the workload. Can you handle it now in a playoff run, a long playoff run that the Frontenacs did not have? Yeah. We'll find out, right? We'll find out. Those are answers. But I think 1,000%, right? He's played the most. He's won the most games this year. He's near the top of each goal in the goalie leaders. he's been incredible. He's won 24 games this year, Mason Vicari. And you can see it on your screen on YouTube right now as well. For those not listening, 24 games he's won. He's the OHL wins leader for goaltenders in the Ontario Hockey League right now. Mason Vicari, goaltender of the Flint Firebirds. You want to talk about an opportunity, right? Good opportunity for him, getting a contract, schools. Great opportunity for Vicari as well. But the Flint Firebirds, without a doubt, are overlooked in the Western Conference and in the OHL in a whole. Because right now, on paper, they're second, third favorites to win the OHL on the standings, right? So,
well, and I think it's something that you mentioned on the deadline show, Colin, was that like Flint hasn't really had their moment in Michigan yet since moving. You know what I mean? Like since they moved from Plymouth, Saginaw has sort of been the story. And we heard Brian Gardner talk about how important it is for them to not only beat Saginaw, but to be, looked upon in the Ontario Hockey League as a team that you don't want to forget about, right? Like I love the season. I love that the teams work together for those season ticket initiatives, for giving Flint fans tickets and Saginaw fans tickets for Flint. Like I think that's really good for the league, and that was incredible when Brian talked about that. And just you 100%. Asked about the buzz of Flint and how much Genesee County has gotten behind that team right now. Like it's got to be a great time to be a Firebirds fan because you've played second fiddle to Saginaw for too long.
Big time. Well, Saginaw got the Mem Cup, right? And this goes back before the Mem Cup. 2020, when you look at the Riley McCourts, you look at that team they had, Delandria, you look at that Flint team that they had. It felt like Flint was poised to make at least the Western Conference final against possibly the Saginaw team that was loaded as well, right? Like it felt like then. And you want to talk about teams that had to suffer through COVID and then have to be forced to go to a rebuild because you guys had the Riley McCourt's former show guest. You guys had them graduate. You had they had Ty Delandria graduate. They had so many good players graduate where you're kind of forced to make a rebuild, right? Without being able to sell the players you can necessarily sell a year after because you lose a year, right? So they lost a lot. Credit to their front office. They've done a great job managing picks, having a lot of picks to go for it. This year they had to be patient. They're patient. Now they get their time. They get their moment. And like you mentioned, great opportunity for the Flint Firebirds to really grab the bull by the horns here in Flint, in Michigan, and really become that team. And also a great initiative by the Firebirds in Spirit for season ticket holders, getting tickets to every matchup, every game, the games in Saginaw and in Flint. You get all the road games as well. That's incredible.